How you doing, Patriot fans? Welcome to this week's episode of the PrimeTime Patriots podcast. As always, your host, Jake Mont, alongside me, Ryan Matson. Not too excited right now.
No.
Not much good news to talk about. Last time we saw you guys was before the Miami game, which obviously didn't go as planned. And then you got to travel to Buffalo on the road, and they got their doors beat off. What did you see in that game?
Honestly, just a bad all-around performance. I didn't think anything really popped out. Offense was stagnant, couldn't get anything rolling, and then defense could not stop anything. I thought, honestly, Mac in the first quarter at least, where he threw that pick, his first one, he had two, I think.
Yeah, the one to Micah, I blame him not at all.
Yeah, so I'm saying the first one where he went to the end zone to Aguilar, that's a great play, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a great pick. So if we, this is what I was thinking. If we scored there, I think that would have changed the whole game.
Yeah, it definitely could have.
Because then they went right after that, and they got they went up 14, and then wasn't there a pick six?
Yep, there was.
And then that was 21 or 20. I think they missed the extra point at that point. But either way, I mean, yeah,
I agree. It was a very bad game all around. I personally put a little more weight, and not even a little more weight, a fair amount of more weight towards the defense. This is the unit that you've been hyped up. And what did we end up scoring? 17 or 10?
I think it was 17.
Okay, so if it was 17, yeah, that's right in the ballpark of something I would have expected our offense to score.
Yeah.
It's not enough to win. I didn't think we were going to win. But either way, you've hung your hat on this defense all year. Yeah. And this has been, when we were talking Super Bowl contender, when we were talking AFC contender at least, it was always about that defense. Yeah. And they went out there, and sure, they're down. They were down Jalen Mills, and you've been down John Jones most of the year, but they just look like an absolute shell.
Yeah, they looked horrible.
The one that stood out to me, I don't know if you'll recall it, it was one of Allen's first big runs, and he made Matt Judon look like
I was just gonna say
a JV player, dude.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Broke him down. He it didn't even look like he was doing anything.
It was that for the rest of the game.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be one of these.
Yeah.
And the penalties, the false starts, the offsides, everything. We've seen two different Patriot teams this year. We've seen a really good, sound team that's not going to beat themselves, and they're not super flashy, but they're going to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
And then we've seen a team like we saw against Buffalo, and that's the team we got, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How much, I know we talked about it briefly, how would you say Mac did overall, everything considered? First playoff game?
I think, I don't know, man. I think, honestly, it wasn't that great. I think that first pick rattled him. He kind of just he looked out of sorts for most of the game after that. The first drive was looking good. They got a goal. Got it going, and then saw he saw an open Aguilar, threw it to him. Great defensive play, and then I think that kind of just turned the whole thing around. So
yeah, I think it was slightly below average, but I think he was far from the biggest issue of the night.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other things could be pointed at to the reason you lose the game. My opinion overall of Mac doesn't change to me. He played through the whole game. He never stopped playing hard, even when I turned the TV off. Yeah. So he kept that energy going. He kept leading even when the game was essentially over. So it was nice to see that. I still do think, until he does something to suggest that he's not, I think it's a guy who's worth building around. I don't think you need to reevaluate your pick or try to look at somebody in the draft or trade for somebody.
Yeah, I think it's too early to do that anyway, especially when he leads you to the playoffs his first year. 10-win season. He beat Josh Allen before. He beat some notable quarterbacks teams. So, I mean, yeah, he's definitely worth some time to build around. And that being said, I heard something on the air recently.
This what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Colin Coward, is that his name?
Yep.
He was saying how, if he's Bill Belichick and the Patriots, Belichick's only got a few years left. Why would he waste his time building around Mac when he could trade Mac and try and get Russell Wilson?
To get Russell, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Yeah, only because I'm super biased. Russell Wilson's been my favorite quarterback for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I love Russell Wilson.
I saw it the other day, and I mean, I was like...
I mean, for him, I would
wrong.
pull... Yeah. No, I totally agree. For him, I would pull the trigger. Because I think Russ realistically has 5 more years? Like, of real good quarterback play.
Yeah.
I think. At least, so... I think part of the reason he wouldn't do it, to play devil's advocate, would be Bill's proven at the highest stage that he gets it done and that he can win championships with elite players. What he hasn't really shown, I guess you could say he did in 01 and stuff, but he hasn't shown, at least recently, the ability to build up from kind of nothing. Mm-hmm. So I think if he can finish with this team and not win a Super Bowl, but maybe
AFC, yeah.
Exactly. Prove that he can take a team that was 7-9 with Cam Newton at quarterback and then turn that around to be another AFC contending team. I think that's just as impressive as bringing in a guy like Wilson or somebody of that caliber and then winning a Super Bowl. I think both have similar weights. Yeah. Obviously, if you win the bowl, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You're going to get big kudos. But, I
just thought that was an interesting take. And, I mean, it makes sense if I don't see Wilson staying at Seattle. I really don't. I don't see, his relationship there seems to, dwindle down every year. His line has been for the past
defense.
I think he's the most sacked starting quarterback in within his time.
Yeah.
I think he's the most sacked ever.
Which is
crazy because
incredible with how elusive he is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting. Yeah. And it's been tough. They've been my NFC team ever since they beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos in that Super Bowl
they blew them out.
Yeah, right before we beat them. But yeah, I've always loved that team. I'm a big Pete Carroll guy. I love Pete Carroll. And obviously time has passed him. He is 70-something.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
He's mid-late 70s, so it's to be expected. But, they've had troubles up there for a while. I remember a couple years when Wilson's contract first expired, there was all this talk.
Yeah.
And then, that'd be interesting to see. He saw how important he was, too. Just missing the time he did, they went 6-10.
Exactly.
And just fell apart, so... I'd be down for it. But, let's see. Here's the hot button question going around right now. After the loss to the Bills, in the fashion that it was lost, do you consider the season a success, a failure, or no, we'll say success or failure, one or the other?
I'd say definitely a success. Mm-hmm. Based on, my... predictions. Mm-hmm. I think I said we were getting 11 wins. Mm-hmm. Finished with 10.
Yep.
Made it to the playoffs. I always, just because I'm a fan, I always thought they would. But most people might not have, predicted that with a rookie quarterback. I mean, definitely, rightfully so. So, Matt coming out, Bill Belichick coming out, and proving that they can still put up wins and compete for the AFC East. Mm-hmm. That's all you can. You can really do. And then, I never thought they'd go to the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they have
Me neither.
They haven't had enough time. They had a rookie quarterback. Some injuries. So, James White went down.
That's huge too.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget because of how early it happened.
So I think it was a success based off. Everything they overcame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's successful. Whenever you put yourself back into this position, all you can ask to do in a league as competitive as this is to be there in the end, to be into the playoffs. And they got that done.
And they finished, I think, a top 10 team in the league.
Yeah, I do too.
Right around 10, I'd say so.
Yeah, so you can't complain about that, especially where we were at the beginning of this year. There was a point in time where we thought Cam Newton was going to start. If I had to put money on it at the beginning, I thought he was going to start the entire year.
Yeah.
I really did. And then he gets cut before the first game, and here we are. Not a lot of people would have thought, but Yeah, I think it overall is successful. The biggest critique that people often give when they say it's a failure is they point to all the money you spent in free agency.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of a shitty argument because, like, that just proves how many new pieces you brought in. It's not like basketball or something where you build a big three and you're just expected to go out and do it. You got all these guys who you did sign for big money for a while now, and it takes a while to learn the playbook, to learn how to best use certain players, how to do certain things. So,
and I think based off that, player success failure type status, I think like if you look at the tight ends we got, one of them was a success, one wasn't.
Which if you
I would have thought it would be the other way.
Oh, everybody would have, dude. Johnny Smith jerseys were flying off.
Come on, Bill loves his white guys. Come on.
I guess you're right. Yeah, no, but Hunter Henry, very traditional tight end this year, but I think third in terms of receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, you had 7 or 8, maybe 9.
I think 9, pretty sure. But like either way, was a huge red zone threat. Wasn't reeling in a bunch of passes, but still.
Yeah, and then obviously the 2 receivers we brought in. One I think was a little of a fail. One I thought was a bigger success.
Yep.
In Kendrick, I think he had a very good show out year to just show what he can do, and I think he could be a number 2. I don't even honestly. Aguilar, I don't even want him. Yeah,
because there's not too much. You're invested now for at least another year, just because of what you spent. But I agree with you.
We've seen Aguilar make some plays, but we've also seen him miss some plays.
Yeah, or just disappear from games.
Yeah, like not even get targets. Not even.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like Jacoby and Bourne, and then I just think. The draft this year is loaded with receivers.
Yep.
Go find someone.
That's just a position, man, that every single year it gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and the thing is, we always fuck up.
Yeah, we can never draft the right guy. We could have had Metcalf, McLaurin, all these people, and we take N'Keal Harry. So so that's about where Bill's drafting is with the receivers. But let's shift the focus a little bit to some more NFL-oriented stuff. Who do you have in the Super Bowl and winning it? Just quick. I could go first if you want.
Go ahead.
Because I'm very, very vanilla. I think it's probably, if I had to put money on it, it's going to be a rematch from last year.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anybody in the AFC. First off, I think Tennessee is maybe going to lose to the Bengals. And if they don't, I'm comfortable with KC going in there and beating them. And then of the other 2 teams, the Bills and the Bengals, I don't see either of them going into KC and winning. Maybe Buffalo. But, Buffalo also, sometimes when Buffalo's on the road, they just fall apart like Jacksonville.
They got them once, and beating a team like that twice a year is that's tough.
Exactly. So, and again, at home, Arrowhead is one of the most difficult environments to play in. Yeah. So, and then on the other side, I hate to say it, the guy's going to win the MVP too, but it's going to be... I have a hard time picking... Obviously, the fan favorite pick right now would be the Packers, but I'm not picking... It's an annual tradition that the Packers lose the NFC.
It's been 5 years in a row. So.
Yeah, they just keep losing that game. So until they do something to prove otherwise, I got to roll with... One, the best quarterback that's left.
Playoff-wise, easily. He knows how to win. He knows how to get it done.
Exactly. So he's not only one of the best, if not the best physically, because I would say Allen and Mahomes, but in terms of management of the game and
smarts based on the game and all
getting
that,
wins. Yeah, I wouldn't put my money on anybody else. So that's what I got. I got those 2.
That's probably exactly how I'd say. Mm-hmm. The only other way I'd say would be Bills, Tampa, probably.
What if you had a dark horse? Who would it be? Or just one of the
on the NFC side?
Either side. Mine would be the Rams. There's not much of a dark horse.
I don't. But honestly, though, I just don't see them beating Tampa. I really don't.
I don't either.
Even with them hurt and down, I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't. They had a weird thing, man, where the first 8 weeks of the year,
everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
They were favorites.
Yeah.
They were
and then they dropped off big time. I think they had a 3-week fallout or 2 week. I don't know. I know they lost 3 really quick, and then they bounced right back. But yeah, I don't know what they did to Kyler though was.
I was just gonna say briefly. We can keep it brief, but what happened to the Cardinals this
Yeah.
year? They were the front runner for a while. They were like 8 or 9
Before the
and
season
0.
started, they were my team to make it because
Yeah.
I knew they'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then going into the year, they started picking it up. I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started falling off. I was like, and then they hit the playoffs, and
Yeah.
that was horrendous. So.
Who they lost to somebody horrendous, like the Jets or something like that. Or the Lions? No.
Oh yeah, they did the Lions.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, so
or it
yeah.
was a no. I'm pretty sure they lost.
But yeah, either way, they lost one to like a bottom 3, bottom 5 team, and everybody was like, "Whoa, whoa, is this what's going on
I think
here?"
It was the Lions.
Yeah, and then they just
Find it.
fell off a cliff after that. But anyways, that's pretty much it in terms of NFL stuff.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, it was
12 to
the
30. Yeah.
12 to 30 to the Lions. Yeah, so that was the first signal of.
Was Kyler? I don't think he was playing that game though.
I think you're right. Yeah, he was out,
I
but
think
it
that
was
his
still.
last game. He was out. I think
And who's their backup?
Colt McCoy.
Oh yeah, okay. So fair enough. But
But
either
still.
way, yeah, we did not
And
see.
I
that
mean,
coming.
D Hop, he's been out all.
A lot of
Yeah.
this year, and he's a guy who never misses time. Like before this
And
year was.
he's still, in my opinion, a top 3, top 5 receiver.
Oh yeah,
So.
100%. I agree. Especially as an X, he's as traditional as it gets. But yeah, I think we'll wrap this segment up, and then we'll just do quick 5-10 minute segment on where we'd like to see the Patriots go in the offseason. All right, guys. So last part of the pod, we're going to talk a little bit about the Patriots this offseason. A lot of talk about some retirements from some really tried Patriots. Devin McCourty, Dante Hightower, Matthew Slater. Neither of them have announced that they're actually out or in, but they've just been around a really long time. Old guys. Hightower took the year off last year, so it's people who it would make a lot of sense for them to step away at this point in time. But also, McCourty specifically was just talking about the embarrassment that this last Bills game was. He's the guy out of those 3 that I think would stay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but either way, that does factor into who we want the Patriots to look at when it comes to draft time. So for me, I was just thinking corner. I think you really need... I think if you stayed completely healthy this year, even with trading Gilmore, I wouldn't go as far as to say you'd still be playing, because who knows how that Buffalo game would have went. But having John Jones and Patrick Mills, I think, is a really good third corner. He's very quick. He's not A to B fast, to where John Jones totally is.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to get beat over the top as much as Patrick Mills. I think those 3 are really, really good if you could stay healthy. But we saw quickly, you lose 2 of those guys. Now you're dealing with Jameson Williams. You're dealing with this. And with all
Miles Bryant.
Yeah, Miles Bryant. That's the one that I blanked on for clear reasons. But, yeah, that's when you start to see how dominant, you're going to get into it in a sec, how deep these receiving cores are across the league. And if you don't have corners to match up to them, every team has a guy. Isaiah McKenzie blew up on us twice. He's a guy I didn't even know who he was. And it's like every team has an Isaiah McKenzie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not that special. And if you don't have the guys that can run with that kind of player and cover that kind of player, I think you're in some big trouble. So first place I'd like to see him go draft time this year would be cornerback.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I got 2. I'd say, going back to Aguilar and N'Keal Harry and all of them.
Yeah.
I really just see 2 of those guys being, should definitely stay, and that being Jacoby and Kendrick. I think we go out and get a receiver. We're going to be placed right around the middle, so a little farther down, and there's some guys that will be there. And I just want to name 3 of them. One of them, and this could change because based off, the college playoffs, it might be an older list. I'm not really sure, but 3 guys. Chris Olave from Ohio State. I know you don't love him, but
no, I'll take it. Any receiver from Ohio State this year was.
I
filthy.
think he could be someone definitely decent. He's ranked above this guy, and I think this guy could be even better. Garrett Wilson, also from Ohio State. He's a little smaller, a little quick. He kind of reminds me of Kendrick.
Yep.
He's not really an X guy, but he could. I think he he could play that. I think he reminds me of like a Hollywood Brown, but maybe just a little built more, a little thicker.
Yep.
So I think he could be, someone. And then this is a guy who probably just went crazy in stock. But the only thing is he did tear his ACL in the championship game, and that's Jameson Williams from Alabama. Yeah. I'm not even concerned about the health because this guy's a stud.
Yeah, nowadays an ACL is like rolling an ankle.
Yeah.
It really is.
If the injury forces him to drop, I'm taking him.
Yeah, if he's there, you got to take him. This team has been so bad at drafting wide receivers. If you look at like the three best receivers, I would say in our past, you got to go a little further back now, 15 years. I was going to say it's probably Moss and Welker, who you traded for, and Amendola, Edelman, who you drafted in the 7th round as a quarterback.
Yep.
Like the ability for whatever reason to evaluate receiver talent, or at least receiver talent as it places now in the modern NFL, is just super absent from this team. It's really weird.
It is.
But,
and then I just had one more position, which would be linebacker.
Yep.
You just said Hightower possibly be hitting the road after this, so I think we need an upgrade anyway. Bentley didn't play bad this year, and I mean Hightower didn't play bad either, but you need an upgrade at some point. They're getting up there in age, so I'd be looking at a draft to draft a young guy who can play linebacker. And Nakobe Dean from Georgia. I mean, what better to take a guy from the best defense in college right now?
They were a machine.
Yeah, so I think that'd be a nice pickup too. So
absolutely. I'm very concerned. I think if you lose both Hightower and McCourty, I think you might be in some trouble. Because I think those are your two biggest leaders on defense. And
definitely McCourty for sure.
Yeah, and then it's a pretty steep drop-off after that in terms of leadership.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that the Patriots, even if you got to overpay for one of them, you have to keep one of those guys around to at least find another great leader. I think the next leader of our defense could truly be Kyle Duggar.
Yeah,
I think
we just re-signed him, right?
Yep, yeah, and I think he works everywhere.
I like him. Yeah.
He's a great Patriot. He can cover well. He can play inside the box well. He doesn't do anything extraordinary or super exceptional, but he's really great at just about everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's the guy, but I still think he needs a year or two under McCourty and under Hightower.
Yeah.
Or at least one of those guys. So
I agree with that. And if one of them leaves or McCourty, then we're gonna have to go get a safety too. I mean, whether it's the draft or free agency. Any free agents you'd like to see on the move or what?
Do you have the list? Let's see.
If I can pull it up real quick, I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because, it'd be interesting. I doubt, after last year, they'll sign anybody huge after the splash they made last year. But there's still... Is that Chandler Jones, I see?
Yeah. All right,
I could do that reunion.
I mean, Devontae Adams... if Aaron Rodgers leaves, he's
anybody
staying.
in this top 10 is going to be untouchable for us.
So
I would assume
we'll name them. Devontae Adams, that's an absolute yes. Terran Armstead from the Saints, he's a tackle.
Can always use it.
Yeah, but
better
obviously money.
Lose.
Yeah. Chris Godwin.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think all these are going to be Chandler Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. If you could get Chandler Jones here,
Von Miller too. That'd be an interesting one. Yeah. I don't know if the Rams are going to resign him.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think if they win the Super Bowl, I'd see him resigning him. If they don't, I don't. He's up there in age already. He hasn't contributed too much.
I'm pretty sure he has a decent relationship with Belichick too.
Yeah, so
from what I know, so
it's
a guy you might want to come here.
Exactly. J.C. Jackson.
Oh, he better not. He better be here, man. I swear. You need
you need another number one, and he's the best option you got.
Yeah, if he goes
Anywhere,
anywhere, then they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
They're in really big trouble, honestly.
Mike Williams from the Chargers, receiver. Obviously, I'd take him too.
Yep.
I think the only thing is just overpaying. You can't overpay anyone.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'd like to see them get...
I think with the leadership, you can overpay. With a guy who can get the job done and then provide in a locker room.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're getting, too. I would honestly look for, like, the 4th or 5th best corner on the free agent list. And that's the guy you target. Because I really think that's all you can afford. And
I agree.
Even if you do get a top-tier corner in the draft or something, you can never have enough depth at that position. So
then we got Marcus Williams from the Saints.
Yep.
The one who missed Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
Safety, so, if McCourty's gone, maybe.
Yep, definitely.
Trent Brown. Oh, Orlando Brown,
yeah. Tackle.
Yep.
I think the play of the line this year was really weird.
I thought they played overall pretty decent.
Yes, I agree. It was supposed to be the strongest unit on our whole team.
That's the reason why we think we lost a few of the first games.
Yes, absolutely. They looked horrendous, those first false starts, holdings, all over the place.
So, and
then they kind of picked it up in the middle. And then
they ended decent.
Average, yeah. So I think, overall.
Obviously, if you could pick up a decent guy, a couple decent guys, then sure. But I don't think you have to worry about it too much because it was a new group.
Yeah.
So going, from the beginning of the season, you got to work your way to make a pack as a offensive line. So I think they didn't play too bad. Allen Robinson, that's a great. I've always thought he was a great receiver. He had a horrible year with the Bears this year.
He really did. Really
very
did.
sad to see because I think he's a top 10, top 15 receiver. He's just so underrated.
Yeah, and he's a straight up X. He could be your X.
He's
tall,
nasty. He's good hands. He can run. He can score. He can do everything.
I agree. He had, for at least a little while, he had some injury things, right? That was his issue.
He did have something. I don't remember.
But I know he made it through most of this year, so
Jesse Bates, he's also a good safety on the Bengals. They'll probably re-sign him. That's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Jensen, Tampa Bay's gonna keep him center.
Yep.
Clowney.
Ooh.
I could.
Clowney's always just, ever since he made that hit against my beloved Wolverines, he's just been not a shell, but never really, even after he was drafted by the Texans, was just never the first overall pick.
Yeah, he had a couple seasons, but he's never really amounted to what everyone thought he would be.
Everybody thought, I remember when they first signed him and they thought of this guy and J.J. Watt. They're like, it's J.J. Watts.
That would be insane.
Yeah, they thought it was going to be incredible.
And they had a good year. I think he was there for 3 years. Mm-hmm. He had a good year, one of them, and then I think he fell off, and then he left in free agency. So
yeah, but no, I'd like to see anybody on this list too.
Yeah, dude, imagine Judon, Clowney.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that's like the best, but it's pretty damn good.
Oh, it's really, really good, and you help yourself a lot. Those guys are both extremely quick too.
Definitely.
So that'd be as long as Judon's not going up against Josh Allen, I guess.
Randy Gregory from Cowboys. That's another good Ed guy.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been good for a little while too.
Gilmore is actually he's not coming back, but
Gilly Lock.
Yeah. Honestly, I think he'll stay with the Panthers.
I do too. He's from there.
Yeah, we'll just hit up the Carolina. Top 20 real quick. We got 5 more.
Yep.
Carlton Davis. I love him. He's an Auburn guy.
Yep. And I take that all day.
Great fucking corner.
They're so weak, though. They're gonna keep.
Yeah,
him. They have but they got Richard Sherman over there.
Tyrann Mathieu, that's a great pickup as well.
He's severely low on this list.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, Marcus Williams over him.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, man. I don't even know about a lot of the receivers and stuff they've been saying. Matthew's really good.
Yeah. And then Hakeem Hicks. He's another. He's a little up there in age.
Is that the D tackle?
Yep. For the Bears, yeah. I don't know situation with the Bears too much, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they keep him, nice, but if not, might as well.
Depth positions.
Yeah. Guard. I mean, we said it already.
Yeah.
Well. And we'll just finish here. Darius Williams, another corner. He's pretty good.
I'll tell you what, it's convenient that that's our last one because that's probably the person I would look at.
So,
you can afford him.
Let's see.
You can
Restricted free agency to receive the first round tender last offseason at a value of $4.76 million. That's when he signed with the Rams. So
it's 4.7, not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think he's getting paid, or this is projection for getting signed. 3 years, $40 million.
Oh, okay. So never mind. He's signed in a boat. Fair enough. But I think you try to find one of these. Ideally, you find a corner who used to be elite or very good,
fell off a little bit.
Yeah, trending down and hasn't won a ring.
And I think this is the first, based on what you just said, the first name that just popped in my head would be Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, from Minnesota.
Yeah, and now he's on Indy, I want to say.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. That'd be nasty.
He had a couple good years for sure, and then obviously I think he had an injury and he fell off a little. He's still a good corner though. Yeah. He can keep up with people. He plays the hands good. I mean, he's a pretty good player. Yeah,
and if you can re-sign J.C. Jackson, all these people we're talking about are 2s and 3s.
That's the biggest signing for the Pats. Yeah, not even close.
So definitely. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up.
Yeah, I think that was
that's the top 20.
Pretty much good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So. There's a brief look at the Patriots offseason, the moves we'd like to see them make, a recap of the last 2 games that we missed. Not totally sure how we're going to move forward here. I think right now our plan is every other week.
Yeah.
Might do 2 a month. Just keep up to date with Patriot news that's coming out.
Yeah, just some updates and maybe news around the league.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a little Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. 2 weeks out from here will be right after the conference championship.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So. Yeah, so we can preview the Super Bowl, all that business. So
we can do the NFL.
Sounds like a plan. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in all season. We really appreciate the support to people who've been watching. We love doing it. We have a great time. So we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. But even though the season is over, still, go Pats.
Absolutely. Go get someone good.